evening, everybody. This is Johnny Seville, and I'm coming to you from Costa Rica, Central America. And it's warm here, and it is heating up in the stock market. So happy New Year to all of you, and what a year we have ahead of us. Looking at the global markets, we can see that for the first time ever, we are in a situation where the US markets seem to be leading the global markets. Have a look at the Dow Jones Global Index. We are flatlining, no real movement from here at all. But when we look at the Dow Jones, we can go back here, sorry, 1 second. The Dow Jones, you can see that we are already breaking down. Now, we're at a critical point where we need to break this moving average underneath. We haven't yet done that. There's one key thing that we need to see. However, if we look at some of the other indexes, let's have a look at, for example, the IUSG, which was a symbol I came across tonight doing my stock scans, which is the Core US Growth iShares, an ETF. You can see that's breaking down significantly. So that's interesting for one. The worldwide markets are not yet broken down, so we will see what open range of January brings. But we are at a critical point. Now, what we'll focus on for now is the stocks in the existing newsletter, and what I'll be publishing in a separate video is the other stocks that I'm focusing on for new potential trades outside of the existing newsletter and the Christmas wish list. So, starting with COF, let's work with that. It's currently in downswing mode. It's been moving out of this long-term double top. So excellent potential oscillating entry. Obviously, that's starting to roll over. It will probably retest resistance somewhere around here, but so far this looks fantastic. CVT even more impressive, looking awesome. This is of course from the one of the original Christmas wishlist play. We were looking for a retest of 54 to 55, which it did in early December. This is also something in Trading Room we've been reviewing, looking for a breakdown below this rising wedge. Also a long-term potential head and shoulder. So CBT is starting to look very exciting. Those of you from the Christmas wish list or presidential picks who may have observed this alert may have already made some money on this one, but this is going to be the confirmed entry point or potential entry point as we break below this. So, moving on, FDC also won, very much so on our wish list, or breaking down from here would make it so. You can see this upward channel, very divergent money flow, and this is in the technology space. As you can see, we have had some kind of false herrings and some false breakouts before that didn't continue, and we'll be waiting to see if this one actuates after a break probably of 1350, but certainly high on our watch list. FLT, and that might remind you of the word flight, but this is flying low, and it looks like it's flying lower. So FLT is still in the breakdown territory, and we're waiting to see it break below that 140 zone, but again, certainly on the list to watch. SFR, Sierra Frank Foxtrot, or sorry, Sierra Foxtrot Romeo. Now, we have broken down below the 200-day moving average here, which is key, and we can see we are retesting that, and it may get you on your nerves. It probably should. It may fail, but retesting the 200-day is kind of the natural thing of a breakdown stock. So we've the one good thing is we have dissipated in volume as we've approached it. What we need to do is break down from here. Okay, Six Flags is still a 10 in my book. It still looks good. We're still within this this longer-term head and shoulders pattern, in my opinion. We're still in the upward rising wedge formation, in my opinion. So I'd be happy to well, this will not be a failed trade until it breaks above $62, in my opinion, at this point. So I would be quite happy to still be looking at this as a short until it breaks above 62, if not 63. And this is because that's where it's still proven as a breakdown trade in terms of the patterns and probabilities. Next one, NVRO. Nancy Victor Romeo Oscar. Still like it. It hit the adjusted stop criteria. Now, depending on where your stop is, it still looks good. If I was in it, I'm not, but if I was, I would still hold it. NVRO, I'd also reconsider an entry point below 70, but otherwise it looks good. It's just had a bit of oscillation here. Given the bearish nature of the market, it could break down. What I really like is CPA. CPA looks fantastic. Again, we've talked about this many times. Rising wedge into the rising wedge. This is breaking down now. I would actually raise the entry potential criteria. Again, pick one for yourself. But based on our strategy, I would look for an entry around 89.73, and I would raise the stop based on that to 94.13. CRM is the next on the list, and it is Salesforce.com, and this one, of course, has got a lot of press recently. It's been all over the news. It's like the next Microsoft or potential Facebook, things like that. It's got a lot of attention, but no real cult following as much yet. But this is respect to the moving averages above, and you can see that Pavlova effect really coming into play here, with it bouncing up the 20-day moving average, unable to hold the 9-day support, and just breaking down. So a break of the underlying 66 support would be really key here in terms of a big drop. Last on the short criteria, we have CORT. And who is courting this stock? Not many, because CORT is falling. And dateless as it may be, it looks like it could go further, but it certainly hit the second target that we'd specified. We were looking at the second target of $7.20, down from $9.37 when we identified it, and it has hit that now. It could drop further, but that's certainly been a finished playout that we were looking for. All right, on to the longs. LNCE. After hitting its first target criteria we were looking for on December 22nd, it has continued to rally, but needs to get through overhead resistance. It is bouncing around a little bit here. You can see the money flows being a little bit divergent. So a lot of these are looking like they're being a bit exhausted. But the saving grace, I guess, is that we can see it forming this kind of consolidation. But it can go the other way, because as you can see, it's not quite conforming to a downward channel, which means it may more likely, or quite as likely, I could say, be a pennant. Now, with downward money flow with an upward movement, they kind of cancel each other out. So that would be what I would be concerned about in that situation. SCOR, this one hit its first target back on December 19th, around $33. It pulled back and has hit its protective stop criteria we'd suggested, around $31.43. So that one, depending, well, I mean, it may still be in play for you, but based on our technical criteria, we're no longer looking at that. And over and done with. This one broke out and looked like a good long, and in fact now looks like a much better potential short because of this upward channel that seems to be developing inside the pattern. So I would be, I'm certainly not looking at this as a long. I would be looking at this as a breakdown short. We have the 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch. So we may get a bit of a rally here, but if we get a breakdown, you may see this on our short watch soon. NVLS, this is my favorite long on the list. This looks amazing. Um, Now, I don't want to get anyone excited, and again, these are not stock recommendations. These are ideas for your watch list, but this is probably my favorite of that watch list. It looks great simply because it has that formation that we love, the fallen angel. So consider it. Do it with what you may, but I still think a target of 288 could be possible, and I'd look at a stop of 183 just based on the technicals. Again, make your own decision, but I still think 288 looks possible. A stop of 183 looks good, and there you have it. NUGT is also recovering some strength. A lot of these commodity-based trades or trade setups are starting to turn. So this one is one of those. And as you can see, big jump on 89 million shares, pullback at 87 million shares. But we're at that kind of bounce point. I think NUGT may have a chance here. I'm holding those January calls. So let's see what happens here. Zoe's failed setup completely. Wouldn't bother with that one anymore. It's broken down in from a rising wedge. That's a long lost soldier. And last from the long list to talk about is FCAU. Fiat Chrysler is really starting to ignite itself. The engines are rolling and it just keeps going up, up and away. I would look to raise the stop criteria to 867 as a suggestive technical indicator. But above that 920 area, it looks strong from there. So let's see. And that brings it to the end of our stock update from the newsletter watch list. And for that, I hope you have a wonderful evening and have had a very wonderful Christmas and Happy New Year's. Take care.